All right. It is not even 5 minutes since UFC 296 has ended. Post-fight press conference hasn't started yet. Bonuses have not been given out, and this is my immediate reaction to the final card of 2023. I mean, overall, it's been a good year for UFC. It's had some great moments, but I guess in the general sense, maybe not better than 2022. But regardless, as far as the last card of the year, it was pretty good. The prelims, at the very least, wall to wall, great action. Um, I think it was definitely looking to be very fitting. Main card, a lot of finishes too. And yeah, let's just start with the main event. What you're here for? Nobody won in that fight. Nobody really earned stock when you're actually there witnessing the fight. On paper, this is a phenomenal run for Leon Edwards. Really, not only is it one of the longest win streaks in the UFC, um, back-to-back wins over Kamaru Usman, a dominant win over Colby Covington, but of course, you've watched it. We're not gonna act like that was a banger because it was not. Really, really weird from Colby Covington. Like I said, this is immediately after the show. And so, I mean, Colby didn't really mention anything in his post fight interview. No injuries, you know, something about the mat. John Anik was talking about constant slipping on the mat. Have no idea what Colby Covington was thinking. I don't know what his game plan was going into that fight. Um, and I'm not going to be the first or the only person to say this, but for all the shit that he talked to go on and perform like that he did tonight is really, really weird. All right. Um, yeah, but overall, I mean, 49-46 Edwards, that's what I had it. Covington did not have the output that I expected him to, in a matchup that was like, okay, yeah, I'm curious to see how Edwards will be able to do against Covington's um, more increased output. And that output just wasn't present. It Edwards, like usual, kind of fights at the level of his opponents, and so that still didn't manage to be a entertaining fight, despite the gap that there seemed to be. I mean, in the striking, Leon was more accurate. He did have more output, um, and then he was pretty even in terms of wrestling. He did get controlled in that last round. Um, but also kind of thinking about I think it was the third or fourth round that when Edwards kind of took Covington down too, right after being taken down. And that was a little disrespectful and once again kind of embarrassing for Colby Covington with all the shit that he talked. Um, you know what I mean? And Leon Edwards remained composed, and it was a good performance from Edwards. Once again, not the not the entertaining performance that we wanted. People were already missing Usman as champion, but he earned the win fair and square, and the judges had it right. Thankfully, I don't think there was going to be a controversial decision after the final horn sounded. It was just obvious Leon Edwards. Yeah, super weird from Covington. Disappointing too, just kind of on both sides. Once again, nobody really earned that much stock, but in terms of as time passes, that like I said, the run that Leon Edwards now is fantastic, and should be interesting. What 2024 has for him. I think there's definitely a lot of compelling matches out there. Is Bilal Muhammad gonna get the title shot? All right, let's talk about someone else who is in contention to get a title shot. And that is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Okay, yeah, Wonderboy got murked. Okay, kind of got dominated. Got held against the fence for maybe 7 minutes before eventually being taken down and submitted. Didn't really have much to offer. And yeah, you can come at me for that. All right, I stand by my prediction. I I was wrong, but hey, I stand by it. I gave my points. I had my reasons. I acknowledged that was going to be a challenge for Wonder Boy, and I was wrong. And so you can come at me all you want. That's just how it is, and bring it. So, anyways, yeah, very impressive from Shavkat. Look, it's still impressive from Shavkat, but also people underrated Wonder Boy in this one. Shavkat really got one takedown, and yes, he submitted Wonder Boy. The first person to submit Wonder Boy, right? Did get that submission soon after the takedown. It was very good work from Shavkat, but like, look, Shavkat did not look like a world ender in there. Still dangerous, you know what I mean? Like, still undefeated, 100% finish rate. Um, but some of y'all underrated Wonder Boy a little bit. Okay, you can come at me for predicting Wonder Boy, but let's also not act like uh that Shavkat like looked like a world ender in there. Like Wonder Boy's takedown defense held up. Still, it he gave up the takedown when it mattered, and you can argue that he still doesn't have ground game, and that's fine. But like, hey, like give respect to Wonderboy Thompson. All right, but yeah, there's a good chance that Shavkat might leapfrog Bilal Muhammad to get the title shot. Um, at the very least, maybe fight Bilal. I think that maybe the UFC wants to set up another fight. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Like I said, Dana White hasn't talked yet. We don't know what's next for Leon Edwards. Dana White doesn't make fights uh, right away on the night. You know what I mean? So we don't know what's going to happen. So, but big ups to Shavkat. Great performance. Yeah, let's go throughout the rest of the main card. Alexandre Pantoja beats Brandon Royval in a dominant decision. A little. I mean, Royval definitely showed improvements. He was definitely stinging Pantoja on the feet. He did get rocked a little bit by Pantoja. I was a little concerned, but when he actually pushed the pace, kind of like I said he should have. He was pretty successful overall, and that sadly didn't have the opportunity to come until the fifth round. And I know Royval is going to beat himself up for that, but overall, dominant performance from Pantoja. Really excellent stuff. I think that Pantoja shows that he's going to be a hard matchup to beat. Um, I mean, we need to see more flyweights get into five rounders, right? Like before fighting Pantoja, because we want to see which more flyweights have a great gas tank. Because we know Moreno is accustomed to 5 round fights. Point I'm getting at here is that like Pantoja didn't really look that fresh by the championship rounds, and Royval was a little exhausted too from the grappling, but he still looked a little bit fresher. I think it's going to take a fighter that's not only extremely well rounded, so really great striking, to kind of outpace Pantoja on the feet, alongside a high level jujitsu to not get controlled, and to have the gas tank to pour it on in the championship rounds. It's going to be hard to find a flyweight right now that could beat Pantoja anytime soon. Moreno was very close. Um, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get a title shot by the end of this year. Some say he does have a bit of Dana White privilege too, so maybe all he needs is just one win over Amir Albazi as of right now to get the title shot. But after that performance from Pantoja, um, definitely going to be backing him as a champion. I think he's going to defend for a while. But we'll see. You never know. It's hard to make definitive conclusions after one fight, but that was a pretty impressive performance. Not the banger that we wanted, but nonetheless a good showing. And all respects to the flyweights, I still got him. Let's see. Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson. Kind of like a case of Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Paddy didn't really earn much stock in this fight. He did show that he has a good ground game, something that some people underrated. Um, Tony Ferguson still looked good in that first round. I had some people telling me like, "Hey, like first round Tony Ferguson's still going to be a threat," and he was, but then he gets controlled for the remainder. Don't really need to talk about it. I don't think much people are that surprised. Tony Ferguson did have some moments, like I think he not quite locked in, but maybe went for was it a guillotine? A little submission that kind of concerned Patty. Excuse me, Patty for a bit. But other than that, not really much moments for Tony Ferguson. Once again, not super terrible, but also not that good either. But yeah, Patty didn't really earn much stock either. It's just like how good is Jared Gordon? You know what I mean? So yeah, we don't have to stick with that. And then Josh Emmett absolutely murks Bryce Mitchell. Oh my goodness, I started laughing. Okay, now Bryce Mitchell took that fight on short notice. He could get off the couch, or he can get out of the hospital right now and knock me out easily. Okay. With that said, I was laughing at the knockout, not at Bryce Mitchell. Just how it was kind of freaky. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that uncomfortable type of knockout in which Bryce Mitchell just gets slept and he just starts convulsing, and you're just kind of like laughing awkwardly because you don't know what to do. You think that Josh Emmett caught another body. Okay. Um, Pretty impressive stuff from Josh Emmett. Let's see, how did I go for the main card tonight? Um, let's see. I considered well, actually, I didn't give an official prediction for the main event, so um, that doesn't really count. So one, two, three. 3 out of 5 for the main card, and that means let's see. I'm too lazy to do the math for the rest of the card, but Irene Aldana versus Carol Rosa. Wow, what a fight! I'm very surprised. I went from my TV that I was watching the fight on to downstairs. because I took a chance to eat, and I watched the fight on my phone, but I took a chance to eat because, I mean, let's be real here. We did not expect the fight that we got. Nobody expected Irene Aldana versus Carol Hossa to be the fight of the night and one of the best women's fights of all time. One of the best since Joanna Jacek versus Zhang Weili won. Um, Front runner, arguably the best women's fight this year. Um, some would say easily fight of the night for sure. Irene Aldana had that dog in her, dude. Who knew that Aldana would be the biggest dog on this card? Um, Highly respectful. It's performances like that earn you a lot of stock. I think back to Pedro Munoz versus Marlon Vera. You know, in which I earn Pedro Munoz earned a lot of respect from me because he was a dog. Of course, what Aldana did tonight was way, way, way more respectable and just way more awesome. Um, Took like 80 something unchecked leg kicks and kind of just decided that she wasn't hurt. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to walk you down. I'm going to break you, Hossa. And that's what she did. It was a fantastic fight, excellent performance. Not really a fight that had not as chaotic as a lot of the all timers this year, but still just a consistently um, just a consistent war, a dogfight, a lot of heart, a lot of toughness, and yeah, just to watch it kind of slowly build, watch the damage on Aldana build up, and then just just kind of build into kind of picking apart Osa. Once again, an unexpected fight of the night, right there. That's real. And overall, a pretty decent card. Like I said, the prelims were actually incredible. Almost all finishes across the prelims. And even though Aldana versus Hossa went to decision, I mean, like you'd be crazy to say that that wasn't an amazing fight. So yeah, wall to wall, great action in the prelims and some pretty good stuff going on in the main card. And yeah, that's pretty much my immediate reaction. As far as my stock on Edwards or Covington, they haven't really grown that much. Definitely interested to see the future matchups for Edwards to come. Still some interesting stuff going on. Still feel like there can be questions that needs to be answered because it just didn't feel like Covington showed up tonight. So very interesting how he would pair up to a Bilal Muhammad or a Shavkat, right? Very interested to see what would have happened if Ian Gary fought Vicente Luque tonight. And and just the fact that the card would take place differently with one more fight added in, just like I just kind of imagine like the butterfly effect right now, and how the results may have changed or have altered, if at all. Paddy Pimblett didn't earn much stock. Shavkat, actually, yeah. Come to think of it, like if we talk about the main card, as far as the crowd reaction, Josh Emmett was the one who owned the most stock here. I mean, they were booing Paddy. Um, Maybe not that much. They were definitely booing Shavkat at one point. They were booing a little bit with Pantoja. They definitely booed during Edwards. Yeah, like Josh Emmett came away with probably the most stock, at least as far the crowd goes. On paper, it's gonna be a little different. But very interesting how this fight card turned out. Once again, MMA, you just never know. And yeah, definitely think Potential's gonna be a tough matchup for a lot of fighters still. Edwards once again gonna be paying close attention to this division. It's still a very interesting division. Um, Paddy Pimblett, I have no idea what's next for him. I mean, maybe a ranked fight next, but like, did he really earn that much stock? Anyways, that's just kind of my thoughts on the on UFC 296. So yeah, that kind of closes us out, and with all the UFC events done, I'm going to be putting together soon my top 10 UFC fights of the year. That's pretty much done. And I'll pretty much start recording that soon. I already have the order and which fights are going to be in the top 10, such like that. And of course, I'm going to start preparing for my end of the year lists. And so, if you've been a longtime fan, look forward to my fights of the year, my movies, my favorite movies of 2023, as well as of course accumulating in my 2023 manga tier list for the third year in a row. So thank you all for my first full year covering UFC, and yeah, we'll see what the future holds. Looking forward to another good year. Thank you all for watching. If you guys have been around, appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the love on the predictions video and all the attention. Let's see how this one goes. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.